Good evening. This is India Global. I'm Gaurie Dwivedi. Let's get the show going with headlines this evening. First up, voting ends in Sri Lanka's parliamentary polls. It's in fact a litmus test for the new president, Dissanayake. Iran is willing to end an impasse over a range of issues with the UN nuclear agency on its atomic program, but it will not succumb to pressure, its foreign minister said after meeting the International Atomic Energy Agency chief in Tehran. In the first ever direct maritime link between Pakistan and Bangladesh, a cargo vessel from Karachi arrived at Bangladesh's Chittagong port with Pakistan's High Commissioner to Bangladesh, calling the move a major step forward in enhancing bilateral trade between the two countries. Super Typhoon Usagi slams into the Philippines. 24,000 people have been evacuated so far as fifth major storm hits the nation in just 3 weeks. All right, on to some very important and breaking news coming in as we speak. Update coming in that the arrest of Khalistani terrorist has taken place in Canada. In fact, India has demanded that these terrorists be extradited. In fact, External Affairs Ministry has responded to reports of arrest which are suggesting that Khalistani terrorist Arsh Dalla has been arrested in Canada. MEA has said that India expects that Canada will extradite Arsh Dalla. And External Affairs Ministry has said that they will follow up on extradition requests. Let's get in my colleague Mohammad Ghazali to fill us in with the very latest on this. Now, this is very important, Ghazali, that's coming in, especially at a time when there's so much happening with regard to the Khalistani probe and efforts mounting from India's side to ensure that some of those Khalistani elements are brought to justice.
Yeah, Gaurie, the first big development is that the Indian government is also acknowledging the fact that we have been arrested because the Canadian police or the Canadian authorities were reluctant in admitting that the person arrested is Arsh Dalla, a designated terrorist who was designated as terrorist back in 2023. And since then, India has placed multiple requests with the Canadian authorities to verify his properties, his involvement in the crimes which have been committed in India, not only killing, but he has been recruiting people to carry out extortion, threatening people of other communities in Punjab, outside Punjab. His men or people associated with him have been carrying out such threatening calls in Delhi and NCR areas, even in Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab. And now he has been arrested in one of the shooting incidents in Canada, which happened like last month. And today was his bail application, which was scheduled to be heard in the court. And he will still remain in the custody as per the latest reports. But Indian authorities, the External Affairs Ministry, has issued a statement saying that despite placing multiple requests to treaties for his extradition, the Canadian authorities were reluctant to admit it, and they have been placing more information or requesting for more information from Indian authorities. External Affairs Ministry has said that they have shared as much as possible. All the replies have been given to the Canadian authorities, and they are hopeful now that after verifying these details, perhaps his extradition will be initiated by the Canadian police. Now, this also shows that how much Canadian police or the Canadian authorities are willing to accept the fact that they have given a safe shelter to somebody who has been a designated
I was coming to just that, that this arrest is important on two counts. One, the fact that there's admission on the Canadian side, and second, that he is in fact very, very significant in the Khalistani terrorist network.
Yes, he heads the Khalistan Tiger Force, and after the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, as per the intel sources here in Delhi, they particularly claim that he was the one who was handling all the terror activities there, running the terror modules, recruiting people back here in India, sitting there in Canada, and then carrying out these crimes. And almost every terror attack, if you see in the last 2-3 years, which have happened in Punjab or outside the state of Punjab, all the links of the people who are arrested by the police shows or indicates that there is some link of Arshdeep Singh Dalla with these terror activities. But despite placing these requests with the Canadian authorities, they were very reluctant to admit the fact. Now, as we have seen that in the last 1 month, the developments between India and Canada and the relations, the way it has taken a hit, perhaps it is a chance for Canada to recalibrate on these relations. by initiating the extradition request and by sort of supporting Indian authorities in getting this person who has been responsible or who is held responsible for multiple terror attacks in India, and he has been booked
Right.
for more than 50 cases.
All right, Kazali, thanks much for filling us in with those details. In fact, shifting focus now to the other big story that we are tracking right now, which is the snap polls in Sri Lanka. Parliamentary elections have taken place and voting has ended in these parliamentary elections. These elections are a litmus test as far as the new president Anurakumara Dissanayake is concerned. He's a very popular leader. He's stormed into power, but that has now supposed to transform and translate into actual power in terms of parliament seats as well. Sri Lanka polls have witnessed 50% in terms of the voter turnout that has taken place. 17 million, over 17 million Sri Lankans eligible to vote in these snap elections, and they were called by the new president, Anurakumara Dissanayake. As I said, he had only 3 parliamentary seats till now, and he needed a majority to be able to really come out with authority and legislative work going forward, which is why these elections are so crucial. They are important also for the president himself in terms of his political capital. He's popular, he's caught the popular imagination, and now he needs to translate that into significant political heft. And in fact, he hopes that he secures majority in parliament, which will ensure that he will have a fresh and a more resounding mandate in terms of some of the reform agenda that he's spoken about in the past as well. On 24th of September, he had dissolved the parliament, and voters are electing 196 members to parliament, and 29 seats are to be elected by another vote as well. So all eyes on whether Dissanayake is able to get a majority in parliament or not. All right, on to the other big story that we are tracking right now, which is from Pakistan, where Imran Khan's final call for protest in Islamabad has happened. Remember, he made a clarion call earlier to his supporters. He's done so again as well. Jailed former Prime Minister has urged his supporters to descend on Islamabad, and his party has called for nationwide protests on the 24th of November. Now, what does this translate into? What does it add up to the political chaos that already has engulfed Pakistan's political establishment? Add to the fact that there is now Donald Trump set to be in office, who has a certain rapport going with Imran Khan and has a deep distaste for the deep state that operates in Pakistan. That's the big question that we are asking on India Global. All right, so we have both Imtiaz Gul as well as Imtiaz Alam joining me on the broadcast. Thank you so much, both of you gentlemen, for taking out the time. Let me start with you. So I'm going to say Mr. Gul and Mr. Alam so that, we can both avoid confusion. Mr. Gul, let me start with you, sir. In terms of the significance of this protest, he's made so in the past as well. There was a lot of back and forth. He called it off the last time because, of course, the multilateral meetings taking place. But he still continues to remain extremely popular in his country. There continue to be fresh cases that are coming. There's one that's come today as well. Another Tosha Khana case that's come. How do you see this clash between Imran Khan and the present political establishment going on from here?
I think the clash is intensifying, only most probably for a bargain as far as the establishment is concerned. Ever since the return of or the re-election of former President Donald Trump, there are some concerns here in Pakistan because of Donald Trump's human rights focused agenda, which he has already announced, and he issued like 5 points as far as the free speech is concerned, and those 5 points basically target the intelligence, the military establishment, as well as the conventional TV networks. So if we were to look at that, this means if he is so keen about implementing his agenda within the United States, the same agenda probably would also guide his policy on dealing
Right.
with Pakistan. So that's why there are some concerns. And there's no doubt about the popularity of Imran Khan, but how that popularity plays out actually in dealing with the military
Absolutely.
establishment is a bit questioned.
Right. 4th of October is when the last protest that was called on by him and his supporters didn't translate into the kind of action and result that they hoped it would on ground. But Mr. Alam, in terms of how you see this, the political climate in Pakistan, there is an looming economic problem. Add to it the fact that Donald Trump is set to be in Oval Office in about 2 months' time, a man who has a deep distaste for the deep state and a certain rapport going with Imran Khan as well.
This is there are a lot of speculations about it, and there is a lot of optimism in the ranks of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI, that perhaps there is some rapport between
Optimism is
President-elect Trump
misplaced.
and former
Do
Prime
you think
Minister
that
Imran Khan.
optimism is misplaced?
I think it is overstated and there are over expectations. I don't think that Trump can release him from the prison. Pakistan is not very much close to US at the moment, nor it is seen somewhere in the US strategic view in the region. So Pakistan is not a very important country at the moment for US. So why should he will have a lot of things on his plate, from Ukrainian war to Middle East, and from immigration issue and other issues, especially in the economic sphere.
I agree with you
So
on
he'll
the
be quite
fact that
occupied
Pakistan,
with his.
Mr. Alam, I agree with you on the fact that Pakistan is not high up on the strategic calculus of America. So why will Donald Trump invest an iota of his political capital on Imran Khan? I'm with you on that. But what I want to ask you is, in the backdrop of misplaced, misguided, overstated enthusiasm in the PTI cadre, do you see the flashpoint between PTI and Imran Khan and the government increasing going forward?
I think Imran Khan has now built a capacity to stir the streets and to create an agitational atmosphere. Last time it was quite astonishing that PTI people reached at the center of Islamabad despite massive restrictions and hurdles. This time too they can reach to Islamabad, and they will have to face this time greater hardships and greater hurdles. But I think this is a premature
Yes.
call. They have not very well prepared. They lack organization. Their leaders outside jail do not agree with each other.
Okay,
And
let
they
me ask
also
this to Mr.
suspect
Gul.
Imran Khan's
Let me
call.
ask this to Mr. Gul,
Sorry?
that what is Imran Khan's game plan? And how does that add to the political instability that's engulfed Pakistan since February election this year?
Well, I think the game plan is very simple. There are 3 demands that Imran Khan has been insisting on. One is the return of what he calls the stolen mandate from the February 8 elections. Everybody agrees, almost everybody is unanimous in the fact that there were massive systematic manipulation of the electoral process.
Mr. Gul, all those 3 demands are unlikely to be met, whether it is coming down on the constitutional amendment or the mandate being restored or the fact that he should not be in jail. But in terms of that, the fact that he's taking on the deep state, the establishment again and again, sitting in jail, even as fresh charges and fresh cases are being slapped on him, obviously he has a fallback plan, right? Or is it brinkmanship?
Obviously, as long as, if you let me complete kindly, so then I can basically respond to that. Basically, the man is in jail. He remains popular. He also knows this, and so does the establishment. And obviously, anybody pushed against the wall would try to exploit his or her position as a popular leader. This is what Imran Khan is doing, because he knows that even if the establishment at the moment refuses to accept the demands which you also mentioned. The demands are basically very fundamental. It's about the stolen mandate. It's about removal of the cases that have been made against Imran Khan and many other leaders. So the hope or the expectation of the military establishment is that the stolen mandate story should be forgotten and the party should learn to move on. I don't know which political party would basically afford to forego the mandate, the narrative that
Right.
was created around the elections, and then start dealing with
Yes.
the sitting government, which it believes is illegitimate.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking to me and really helping our viewers decode what's happening in Pakistan. One thing is clear, the political instability and crisis is only going to increase from here on, and India needs to be very careful and wary of what's happening on its borders. All right, on that note, we slip into a very short break. We come back on the other side and ask the key question: does India also need its very own Department of Government Efficiency? Stay with us.
This is an important message for people living with diabetes from people living with diabetes.
When I was experiencing the symptoms of diabetes, I didn't know what was going on.
You go on the internet and it's full of horror stories.
I didn't understand about carbs, I didn't understand about blood glucose levels.
That's why the support I get as a Diabetes UK member is so important.
You can become a Diabetes UK member for just £3 a month. When you do, you'll receive a practical guide specific to your type of diabetes and a copy of Balance magazine 4 times a year. Plus, you'll help support research that could lead to better treatments for all types of diabetes.
As members, we're all working it out together.
Call 0800 144 5410 or go online to become a Diabetes UK member for just £3 a month. Join us now because membership can help you learn to live better with diabetes.
Dreams come true, come to the other side. I can feel energy. I believe it's healing me. Oh, I need sweet release in the freedom of the night. Freedom of the night.
Join me and the Style Squad. Shop now exclusively at Freeman's.
It's that time again as citizens put their doors in the drawer for People's Postcode Lottery's biggest ever prize pot.
In the December draws, you and your neighbours could win a share of £32.5 million.
Whether you own or rent, absolutely any door can enter. Sign up before midnight on the 1st of December.
A share of £32.5 million could be yours, but only if your door is in the draw.
जाने किसकी तलाश उनकी आंखों में थी आरज़ू के मुसाफिर भटकते रहे जितना भी वो चले उतने ही बिछ गए राह में फासले
मेरे हम नवा मुझे दोस्त बन के बोले नैना नैना बोले.
Glasses Direct. Get yourself a great big deal on your new glasses. Right now, at Glasses Direct, get 2 pairs from £15. That includes your lenses and free returns. No quibbles. Oh, now we've got your attention. It's easy to see why we're trusted by over 3 million UK customers. For a really big deal on your glasses, you should go direct to glassesdirect.co.uk.
Welcome back. This is India Global. The key story that we are now focusing on, well, the Trump administration, it has new faces, key faces, and some that we are going to keep a very close watch on. One of which is Tulsi Gabbard, a pro-India former congresswoman who is in Donald Trump's key network of people who will reshape or shape America, according to Donald Trump. He appointed Tulsi Gabbard as his intelligence chief, and she is, in fact, a Hindu-American who's been picked to lead 18 spy agencies. She served 2 decades in the National Guard and first Hindu lawmaker elected to Congress. Take a look at this report that tells in detail why we need to focus more on Tulsi Gabbard going forward.
President-elect Donald Trump is on a hiring spree. And one of his most high-profile appointments after his big election win is Tulsi Gabbard. Trump has roped in Gabbard, who was the first Hindu-American in US Congress, as the next chief of US intelligence. So who is Tulsi Gabbard, and how does she suddenly find herself at the top of the high-profile US intelligence community?
I joined the Democratic Party over 20 years ago. I was 21 years old in Hawaii, and at that time, it welcomed people from all different backgrounds, different views, celebrated free speech, and actually defended those whose speech was being attacked, even if they disagreed with their views. It was a party that stood up for the little guy and represented our values of freedom and liberty in America. I left the Democrat Party because now it stands for the exact opposite of all of those things.
Born in American Samoa, the 43-year-old Gabbard is a former Democratic Party leader with a sparkling resume. She's a 4-time congresswoman from Hawaii and a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve, having served in Iraq. She unsuccessfully sought the party's presidential nomination in 2020. While Gabbard was quite critical of her former party in the run-up to the November 5th election, she had thrown her weight behind Trump. Gabbard has been vocal about the Hindu minority in Bangladesh. In 2021, she condemned the violence directed at Hindu worshippers by Islamist extremists in the country, saying that such acts reflect a profound misunderstanding of religious values.
It broke my heart to see such hate and violence being directed towards devotees of God in their temples in Bangladesh.
She made history when she became the first Hindu member of the US House and took her oath of office with her hand on the Bhagavad Gita.
That you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
She once also presented her personal copy of Bhagavad Gita to the Prime Minister. Though the role of the US Intel Chief will add to her ever-growing resume, there are some concerns regarding Gabbard taking up the role, as she doesn't have past experience of working in intelligence agencies. With Vishal Vivek, Bureau Report, NDTV.
All right, since we're talking about Trump team, there's going to be Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy heading what is going to be Department of Government Efficiency. What will this do? It will cut red tapeism. In India, there's been a lot of talk about can we cut red tapeism? And that's exactly what we're going to ask. That does India need its very own Department of Government Efficiency? And what can it do? Can we bring down costs? Can we bring down the time it takes for rolling out schemes? And most importantly, what all can we achieve if there is indeed a government efficiency program? Okay, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi with me on the broadcast to talk more about a proposal that many would say, or at least former bureaucrats would say, is too radical. Dr. Qureshi, what would you say to that?
Yeah, it came to me as quite a surprise, because the US government has all the experience and the people they pick up have some background or the other. And to compare it with India, whether India also should follow suit, I think it's not at all necessary. In fact, if at all, it is US which is following India, because almost 15, 20 years ago, we set up a Ministry of Program Implementation. But unfortunately, this is a ministry which was given no importance. Many people would not even know such a ministry exists. Nobody, secretary wants to be posted there because it is so
But is program implementation the same as government efficiency? I think program implementation would be a small part of overall efficiency, right?
Yeah. No. Of course, because programming, you achieve efficiency only by implementing the program. So, and what role you give it to this ministry is what will determine the outcome. To my mind, program implementation is exactly for this purpose, but it has not taken its job seriously, and nobody has therefore taken it seriously. All we need to do in India just to make it stronger. And personally, I feel one officer in the Prime Minister's office dedicated to the job of monitoring every ministry and its performance and efficiency is more than enough, because in PM name, people shake. So every 3 months, let there be the
okay, that is accountability. That is accountability. But if one were to talk specifically about efficiency, one thing is that there are two aspects of it that many people speak. One is the cost savings. Second, reducing manpower, reducing headcount. How does India go about achieving that?
Well, India has been doing it for a long time. For instance, many years ago, the finance minister decided that a post which has been lying vacant for 2 years will not be filled up. And the fraud that they were doing, that they were not allowing us to fill up the job. And and after it was unfilled for 2 years, they will say now the law applies that a job which has remained vacant for 2 years is not required, and it was abolished. So these kind of things have been done in various ways, devious ways, direct ways, and only if the government is...
But sir, Dr. Qureshi, 30 seconds, I'm out of time. If the world's largest economy thinks they need something like this, surely India needs something like that as well.
No. The largest economy may be fine, but we are also going to be the third largest economy, and we have been doing for 20 years. Except we need to put some life into the institutional mechanism that we already have. And I have not talked about parliamentary oversight, because we appear before parliamentary committees. They'll exactly review our performance and efficiency, all these things which you're talking about.
All right, Dr. Qureshi, let's leave it there. Thanks much for sharing your thoughts on what many would say radical, but some would say need of the hour. All right, on that note, it's a complete timeout on this edition of India Global. Thanks so much for watching.
It's been a difficult year for our family. We're finally going through my Tom's things. I want to make him proud, and that starts by making sure our son is protected.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
That's great.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000. Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
That money could help with debts or my funeral costs. I'll do it.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
James? Jenny? It's been 30 years. Where have you been?
Is that really a Hyundai?
It's Hyundai.
Hyundai?
If you think you know our cars and how to say our name, where have you been?
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma, but so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pomelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today. By calling 0800 038 4926 and giving £1 a week to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 038 4926. Text C13 to 82727 or go online and give just £1 a week now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
Aam Aadmi Party wins the Delhi mayor elections. Aam Aadmi Party councillor Mahesh Khinchi, he becomes the mayor of Delhi. High drama in Andhra Pradesh. Assembly Nara Lokesh's blistering attack at the ex-Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy says that Jagan defended those who insulted his mother. AFSPA reimposed in 6 areas in Manipur. It has been imposed in violence-hit Jiribam as well. Yogi government's U-turn on the UPPSC exams. The government rolls back decision and amid the ongoing protest. The rollback comes after aspirants protested in Prayagraj. Prime Minister Modi reiterates the Ek Hai to Safe Hai call in Maharashtra. Prime Minister attacks the Congress over their old ads, saying that Congress harbors anti-reservation mindset. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav speaks exclusively to NDTV, takes fake guarantee swipe at Maha Vikas Gaurie in poll-bound Maharashtra. He says people want implementation and execution, not just promises. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shab. The big story that we are tracking at the top of this hour, GRAP 3, it has been imposed in Delhi. It will come into effect from tomorrow morning. Now, amid worsening air quality, Delhi government has finally implemented enhanced steps in order to counter pollution. This under the Graded Response Action Plan, or GRAP, Stage 3 from tomorrow in order to curb pollution levels. Remember, this will include halting constructions, banning the use of diesel generators, and stricter pollution checks. These steps are being implemented from tomorrow in order to curb the rising emissions and protect public health. So the government has finally imposed GRAP 3. Stricter curbs will come into force in Delhi. Delhi government finally taking tough actions. And my colleague Ishika joins us to get us more on this. Ishika, just get us a sense of what measures and restrictions will be in place as far as GRAP 3 is concerned.
Well, yes, in fact, Osama, if we talk about, the Graded Response Action Plan, Stage 3, in fact, is going to be invoked from tomorrow, 8 a.m. in the national capital, and certainly the restrictions are going to be increased. If we talk about the interstate buses, their entry, in fact, there will be restrictions on that. If we talk about, the non-CNG vehicles, there also, the restrictions are going to be imposed. If we talk about the construction works, well, the construction works, except those of national importance, they're also, in fact, they are all going to be banned, under the Graded Response Action Plan Stage 3. Now, if you remember, Osama, today also, the Environment Minister made it very clear that if we talk about the interstate, diesel buses that, in fact, come into the national capital, they, in fact, contribute a lot to the pollution, because of which the national capital suffers. So under this, the Graded Response Action Plan Stage 3, there will be restrictions put on that as well. Now, we have seen how, in fact, the water sprinklers that are already there, their number will now have to increase. If we talk about the smoke guns, their also number are going to be increased. There should be more mechanical sweeping to curb the dust pollution as well. But the question remains that, whether or not this time the implementation will be done efficiently or not, because we have seen in the previous cases that even after this, the air quality index continues to rise, and the people, the residents of the national capital, they get absolutely no respite. Over to you.
Right. Apart from implementation, it is also government's preparedness that is going to be under scrutiny. Is the Delhi government prepared enough to adequately enforce GRAP 3 in Delhi?
Well, if we talk about, the strategy of the government so far, there are numerous teams under different departments that have been formed only, to be deployed on the ground for the implementation. Now, the government here again and again emphasizes on the fact that they are very much ready. They, in fact, have, deployed civil defense volunteers also now for the, for the purpose of curbing the air pollution. But now what they say, Delhi government, in fact, has also now attacked the central government. They say that we are doing all in our efforts, but now the action needs to be taken from the central government to, in fact, come out with a joint action plan so that, all the neighboring states, they participate so that the impact here on the ground will be more. So certainly now the Delhi government emphasizes that they are very much prepared, but they do need support from the central government. Over to you.
All right, what will be the effectiveness of GRAP 3? We'll have to wait and watch. Ishika, stay with us because another big story that we are tracking from Delhi, it has been a significant victory for the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. The Aam Aadmi Party candidate Mahesh Kumar Khinchi, he has become the mayor of Delhi. This as voting for the long-delayed elections took place on Thursday. He defeated BJP's Kishan Lal, who is a councillor from the Shakurpur ward. Let's listen in to what Mr. Khinchi had to say.
आदरणीय जो हमारे माननीय पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री हमारे अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का मैं तहे दिल से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं और हमारे शीर्ष नेतृत्व का भी मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करता हूं। हमारे विधायक विशेष रवि जी का भी मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करता हूं। सभी पार्षदों का धन्यवाद करता हूं कि आपने मुझे एक छोटे से कार्यकर्ता को माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने जो पद पे पहुंचाया, ये सिर्फ आम आदमी पार्टी में ही हो सकता है, जिसके लिए मैं केजरीवाल जी का बहुत 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 धन्यवाद करता हूं और मैं सभी पार्षदगणों का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं।
Ishika, still there with us. Ishika, just explain the significance of this victory by the Aam Aadmi Party, especially in the context of, the assembly elections that are going to take place next year. How significant is this victory for Aam Aadmi Party?
When we talk about elections, Osama, even the smallest elections matter for the political parties. Now, if we talk about the MCD, it is the biggest civic body here in the national capital. And we see that the margin, if we talk about the difference, in the councillors of the BJP and, in fact, the Aam Aadmi Party is, in fact, slim. And that is why every time we see that whenever there is an MCD election, it turns out to be quite interesting. So this time also, there was a lot of drama, which was certainly expected. We did see the Congress councillors first, in fact, raising slogans against the Aam Aadmi Party, saying that this time whoever will be the mayor, their term will be limited. And then they also walked out of the house. Now, after, they walked out of the house, certainly, if we talk about the majority, that certainly came, below, which actually helped the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, which another interesting fact that we saw today was that, a Congress councillor today itself resigned from the Congress party and she pledged her support to the Aam Aadmi Party. So all of this certainly, helped Aam Aadmi Party to turn victorious. And we are showing the visuals, in fact, on the screen as to how, you can see the victory sign, the happy smiles on the faces of the Aam Aadmi Party, councillors, and also after winning the mayoral polls. But certainly the question remains that, if we talk about the mayor, this time the mayor is of Aam Aadmi Party yet again, a new mayor from the Aam Aadmi Party camp. But again, if whenever the MCD functions, there is the requirement of the standing committee. The elections of the standing committee chairperson, that is still pending. So that, is certainly going to be affected because of this election. So certainly that is also going to be turning out to be interesting. And this is definitely going to boost the morale of the Aam Aadmi Party, even for the upcoming Delhi polls. Over to you.
Shikha Verma, thank you very much for getting us all the latest from Delhi there. Meanwhile, there had been a ruckus in the Andhra Pradesh Assembly. Nara Lokesh, he in fact attacked YSR CP over what he called an insult to his mother. Nara Lokesh said that his mother was insulted in the House by YSR CP and also said that Jagan Mohan Reddy, he in fact defended those who insulted his mother. He in fact also went on to add that YSRCP members insulted his mother and then ran away.
So Lokesh, very passionate kind of speech that he made inside the assembly. The context was that he was asking why the YSRCP MLAs, about 11 of them are there, including Jagan Mohan Reddy, and he was asking why they are not attending the assembly session. And then he made a reference to the fact that his father had always attended the assembly session, except exactly 3 years ago. In fact, inside the assembly, Chandrababu Naidu had broken down and declared that he's not coming back to the assembly after an insult to his wife. That's what he had said in the assembly at that time, and he had even held a press conference a couple of days later, breaking down, saying that there was a character assassination of his wife Bhuvaneshwari inside the assembly, and that is what Nara Lokesh is referring to, saying that my mother was insulted inside this assembly, and that's the reason why my father had stopped coming, or rather boycotted the rest of the assembly session till such time that the Telugu Desam, now in the form of this coalition, came back to power. This is coming at a time, Ankit, when in fact the Andhra Pradesh government is having a major crackdown on abuse on social media, and they're specifically looking at the derogatory, defamatory and also morphed pictures being used, not just of women politicians and those who are there in the public domain, but also women from prominent political families, and that includes in fact the Chief Minister's wife, who is of course Nara Lokesh's mother Bhuvaneshwari, his own wife Brahmini, Nara Lokesh's wife Brahmini, Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan's daughters, both of who are being trolled also, we are told, and defamatory contents are being put up on social media about them, threatening them as well. And the Home Minister Anita has in fact said that she herself is a victim of this kind of social media abuse, and that's the reason why they're having a crackdown on the social media, and more than 100 cases have been booked, 67 notices have been issued, and 39 people have been arrested in fact by the Andhra Pradesh police following this kind of abusive content, specifically targeting women as well. So it is in that context that Nara Lokesh says it is not just my mother, you have also told YS